Hello and welcome everyone. How are we doing tonight? Howard Carousel here I'm just kidding. It's just me, and we are here today. I don't know what to call this video yet. I'm thinking maybe the rage and the cringe or something like that. Two big rant type style deals we got going for you here. One's rage, one's hella cringe. We're gonna start with the rage thing, and these are both actually recent, so I'm kind of on top of things for once instead of being way behind. But let's take a look at this. This one's a little long; it's 17 minutes, but I mean, I make no promises like always, but I'll try to keep this one a little short this time. Let's get going. Straight into it. We're diving headfirst. What is going on right now?
So there you go. Now, for all the people spamming FF7 in the chat, you can shut up right now.
Oh, you can shut up right fucking now.
Because we've already discussed this. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did absolutely poorly here on DSPGaming. All right? I played about 20 hours. And it did not do well at all. People were not showing up for the streams. They were not engaging. They were falling asleep and talking about unrelated things and actually...
Oh, but... DSP, I thought you didn't rage quit games. I thought just recently you were boasting about how you always finish every game to completion, and now right after that we're going to, well, I wasn't making enough money on this game, so it's going in it's going to be forgotten. It's going in the same fucking pile as Divinity Original Sin 2 here. We're just going to totally forget about that game because it wasn't making enough money. Even though I played the first Final Fantasy VII Remake and the original, but I don't want to see it continue or anything. And also, I don't really care about money, but I do care about money because he was saying for the longest time he's not playing these games for money and how he wasn't playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth for money, even though he was, but he wasn't because he was getting more money when he was playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, than he was for Like a Dragon. Right? So he's getting way more money in Rebirth than he was in Like a Dragon, because he was getting almost nothing in Like a Dragon. And he goes on to say how Like a Dragon is one of his lowest supported games in his entire history of playing playing games online. But he still finished that game. But he refuses to play Final Fantasy VII even though it was making more money than that game. So make this make sense to me, Phil?
Actually saying it was boring when they watched me play it.
Did anyone actually say that?
Ridiculously low for a brand new RPG playthrough. And at that point,
it was low for Like a Dragon too.
RPG overload. But if you want to know the truth, I don't think so. I don't think that was the case.
Oh, that changed now, huh?
People aren't digging the game as much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm never going to go back to Final Fantasy VII.
No, that's what you're saying.
I'm not going back to RPG Overload. I refuse. If I'm going to choose between two RPGs, I'd rather play Dragon's Dogma 2 than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
So then you're going right back to RPG Overload because you're just replacing Baldur's Gate 3 with Dragon's Dogma 2. So you're still right back into RPG Overload even though you claim you're not doing that. You're still doing that because Dragon's Dogma 2 is still an RPG. So that means you're still playing two RPGs, Phil, because there is no other big name game release titles coming out anytime soon. Phil, so what other game are you going to play in the meantime? Are you just going to play one game after Like a Dragon is done, after Baldur's Gate 3 is done? Are you just going to singly play Dragon's Dogma 2 for a while and that's it? Like, what other game are you going to do? Because we all know there's a shitload of very good indie games. There's a bunch of games he skipped previously, but he refuses to play those games. And there are current games out now that he could be playing, but he doesn't want to play that because he doesn't like it. So, like, there's that new South Park game that's out. You got Helldivers 2. You got quite a few different games that are out, but it's not his cup of tea, so he's not going to play it. But he'll bitch and whine that RPG Overload, even though he was the one who put himself in this situation in the first place.
Right now. But I might go back to Final Fantasy VII in the future. Maybe when we get through Dragon's Dogma, we're looking for another RPG, we can go back to it. but I'm not playing 2 major RPGs at once. I'm not an idiot. We
You're
literally
still
just did that
doing
for 4
it.
months. I'm not a moron, and I don't care how many people.
Like, hold up, like, you're still playing Dragon's Dogma 2, and you're still playing, I think he's still playing, I think he just finished today. Today, he just finished Like a Dragon. But, I mean, I know this was recorded this morning, I think. And at the time of him recording this, he was still playing Like a Dragon. And he's still playing Dragon's Dogma 2. So, that's still playing 2 RPGs at once, dumbass. And now that he finished Like a Dragon, unless I'm forgetting a game, the only game he's going to be playing now is Dragon's Dogma 2, correct? Unless I'm like forgetting a game, or he's going to go back to Call of Duty or fucking a fighting game of some sort and bring Street Fighter 6 back or something. But unless he does something like that, like, I think it's just going to be that game.
Spam the chat and whine like babies about it. I'm not killing my business further.
Oh, and remember, the customer is always right, and the customers are the boss, blah, 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 even though they're not. And I went to business class, and I should give the customers what they want, even though I'm not doing that. But my business is down, and I don't know why my business is down. But I refuse to listen to my actual customers, and every time they give me advice or recommendations, I always tell them no matter what. But I don't know why my business is down. Like, did this guy, like, he's not even that big of a drug user, so he must have been, like, entirely drunk throughout his college degree. That's my only guess, is that, like, he constantly got drunk on gin and slept through most of his classes, probably. And I think he tested decent, so, like, he just cram studied at the end of, like, these like when he was going to have a test, and he managed to pass by the seat of his pants, probably, and that's why he has a degree. But he sure as fuck didn't learn anything from his degree, though, did he?
Because in reality, as much as I enjoy RPGs, they killed his business. Literally, Baldur's Gate 3 hurt this channel badly for the last.
And again, there are a shitload of actual good streamers who play nothing but RPGs. They play nothing but RPGs, and they're more successful than this motherfucker. And they have more people following him than him. But he's just a fucking idiot and is boring, and no one wants to hear him fucking voice act, quote unquote, when he's fucking reading it, because he's so slow at fucking reading the text on the screen, and no one wants to hear him fucking voice act it.
Last 2 months. I want you to understand that. That was a sacrifice to get through an insane game like that, and I'm not playing long games like that ever again. I can't. They don't fit my formula. All right?
So when the next Like a Dragon game comes out, you're gonna skip it then, huh? I would love to see that. I wish you would skip it, because those games are boring as fuck. I'm sure if you're the one playing those games, they're fine. But no one wants to watch this dumbass play those games. He is correct there. No one wants to watch this idiot play Like a Dragon or any of those Yakuza games. But apparently his fans do want to watch him play Final Fantasy VII. So he's just a fucking moron.
Even if they came out with Baldur's Gate 4 tomorrow, I would not be playing it. I cannot play these kind of games anymore. They don't work. Okay? For as much as people came by the streams and supported them, the channel itself has dipped so badly.
Wait, what was that? Hold on a second.
For as much as people came by the streams and supported them, the channel itself has dipped so badly.
So people were supporting you while you were playing Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 has always had support. I saw someone quote a statistic. Holy shit, I cannot say that word. They quoted a statistic that claimed that he made around $5,000 or $6,000 in totality from playing Baldur's Gate 3. And he didn't even have to buy the game. It was gifted to him, but from a fan. So a fan gifted it to him. He spent no money on it, and he earned $6,000. And might I add, Baldur's Gate 3 was the only game that was regularly pulling in support and regularly hitting his tip goals. Because no other game that he is playing or was playing was pulling in hardly any support. Not like Baldur's Gate 3 was, okay? So, now that Baldur's Gate 3 is gone, and he is saying over here he's trying to spin it that Baldur's Gate 3 killed the business, when in fact, Baldur's Gate 3 was holding up the business. It was that one rickety, thin support beam that's holding up the entire fucking house. And now that Baldur's Gate 3 is done, the playthrough is done, someone kicked that support beam and the whole house is going to come crumbling down now because no one else gives a shit about any of the other games that he is playing. And he's not going to be making the same amount of support that he was making when he was playing Baldur's Gate 3. Capiche?
I'm not kidding you when I'm telling you I am down thousands of dollars a month compared to before I started.
Yes, and before you had said that it was because of Argentinian trolling accounts, which honestly I probably would be more likely to believe it is because of the Argentinian trolling membership thing than it would be because I'm playing too many RPGs, dude. Especially when he still got a regular amount of money from Baldur's Gate 3.
Baldur's Gate 3, this channel has dipped in views and support.
See, he's
by thousands
this motherfucking idiot is trying to say that Baldur's Gate 3, it's because of Baldur's Gate 3 that his channel is down thousands of dollars, when that's not the case. If anything, his channel is down because of the way he treats his fans, because of how constantly he is telling his fans to go someplace else, and also because of Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth has killed his channel far, far more than Baldur's Gate 3 has. Far more than Final Fantasy 7 has. But he doesn't want to say that because he likes Like a Dragon.
Of dollars a month. So you may think, oh, but the streams do well, and the streams are great, but that's not a business. That's half of the business.
That's also
one
not Baldur's Gate's fault. That is your fault.
Done good, and the other side has completely faltered because of Baldur's Gate 3.
Because of the trolling.
That's the cause and
membership trolling.
Okay?
Because obviously you're not getting that much money in memberships and stuff because of the trolling, dummy.
I can't do that shit anymore. I can't. I'm not going to be doing.
You don't have a choice.
This kind of insane stuff.
Because your channel is going to continue to be down because of the Argentinian membership stuff. Not because of Baldur's Gate 3, not because of any other game you play or don't play. It's going to remain down, supposedly, if it is actually down, because who the fuck knows, he could be lying about that. But it's going to remain down because of the membership thing, because people aren't paying for memberships when they're getting it for free. Why would they?
Anymore killing this channel. All right?
You are killing your own channel, dumbass, not because of RPG Overload.
Okay. So. Oh. No, I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth now. I already said I'm not. It didn't do well when I was actively playing it. And I'm going to be playing Dragon's Dogma 2. So it's that or one or the other. And I've chosen Dragon's Dogma 2 over Final Fantasy VII. I'm just more interested in it. Okay? It's that simple.
Okay, fair
enough?
That is fair, because it's like, okay, it is your channel, you get to pick. Fine. But don't put these bullshit excuses on why you're choosing one over the other. Just be honest and say, I prefer this game over Final Fantasy VII, so I'm going to play this game. That's all you fucking had to say. And he eventually got to that fucking point, but it took, what, at least 3 minutes, if not longer, of bullshit to get to that fucking point. Of blaming, excuses, blaming the only game that was ever giving him money this whole year so far, which is Baldur's Gate 3, and all these other things. I'm like, just fucking come out and say you don't want to play it, and then don't play it. But you can't not play Final Fantasy VII and then turn around and praise yourself for always finishing playthroughs here and there, and I never rage quit anything. Like, yes, you do rage quit all the fucking time. So you can't then turn around and pretend that you don't do this shit when you clearly do this shit. And this is just another example of you doing that shit. Does that make sense?
Okay. All right, Cream Sardine, would you like me to ban you now or later? Because I just said I don't want anyone bitching about this. And
you're in
bitching,
trouble.
and I've had enough.
That's a slap in the face for people who watched your Final Fantasy VII playthrough. How can you leave it incomplete like that? You always said you finish playthroughs once you're in. That is correct. This person's probably going to get banned, and then in a month or two, we're going to see them in Detractor channels. Just like Arkham Edits, just like DJ Runo, and all these other people that were at one point fans of his, and then they get fucking banned for no reason or for pointing out the truth. Because that's what they're doing. They're pointing out the fucking truth. And he can't handle that. He can't handle someone pointing out his own contradictions.
I've had enough. I'm not going to have anyone bitching about Final Fantasy
I've
VII
had enough.
at
This
all.
is such
Zero.
a hard
Every
job.
complaint I get
Oh my
about it, I'm going
God.
to say, shut up, because I'm not killing my business over this. And if you say it another time, I'm going to ban you, because I've just had enough of this.
Oh, what? Listen to your customers? Give the customers what they want? No, those places that do that, their businesses go out and under so fast, they go bankrupt because they're giving the customers what they want. A real businessman gives the customers the opposite of what they want. I'm going to choose what you order. I'm going to choose the products that you're going to buy. Oh, you don't like what I have? Go somewhere else. He constantly says that. And then he wonders why his channel is dying when he himself pushes his fans away from him to other content creators. And then when they do go to other content creators, he bitches, whines, and complains that it's a troll's fault. It's our fault that his viewership is down. It's our fault no one is left to give him money. Or it's the game's fault why no one's giving him money. No, it's because you're constantly pushing your fans away from you, dummy.
Entitlement. Oh, I just want what I want, nothing else, and I'm going to sit here and whine and complain, but I just told you.
What fucking actual business owner thinks that their own customers are entitled? This motherfucking idiot is so insane. Like, you could not convince me with a straight face that you graduated with a business degree, motherfucker. You did not. Either you went to like a super special college where you didn't have to do any work or know anything in order to get a degree and they just handed out a fucking degree, or you went to like DeVry or some bullshit.
The rationale of why we're not doing it, respect that. No, I want it anyway. Shut the fuck up now. Now I'm telling you, shut the fuck up. I literally just had my channel dying for 4 fucking months. I'm not doing it again.
But why do we try? Why do I even try? Why am I making this fucking video right now pointing out how he could actually hold down a real functioning business? What's the point of me doing that when we all know he never listens to actual advice that could actually help him out? He himself is dead set on going for bankruptcy number 2, basically. He himself is so stubborn that he will run his own business into the ground multiple times and then ask for bailouts like he's a fucking bank and the government owes him money, so they should give him a bailout. I'm like, no, you're the one who's running your own business into the ground. You're the one that's not giving the customers what they want. Why should anyone give you money for that? This guy, like, he claims his customers are entitled? No. You are entitled, Phil. You are the most entitled little crybaby bitch I've ever seen. And it really is amazing in a way, because he honestly thinks that the world owes him everything. Just for the bare minimum of him turning his camera on. His gameplay is shit. His opinions are shit. His viewpoints on stuff are shit. His react channel is shit. His commentary is shit. His gameplay is shit. So why should we give... That's a lot of shits. Why should... I don't want to turn into Phil with all the sketch shit. Shit. I just said shit. Whatever. So why should anyone give you anything? Why are you entitled to anyone's money when you don't put any effort into anything? Why am I making this video right now when it's not going to help anything? Obviously, I'm preaching to the choir. If you're watching this video, you know everything I'm saying, right? Like, you agree, I'm sure. if you're watching this video, you're probably a detractor. If you are a DSP fan of his, feel free to echo my words and give him advice, because guess what? He's going to shut them down. He's going to ignore any advice you give him, because we've seen that with his viewer suggestion box. He just shits on anyone who gives him any kind of actual advice and comes up with a million excuses on why he won't do that, why he won't do that. And then he'll turn around and beg you for money because his business is failing because of the trolls or because of Baldur's Gate 3, when it's really failing because of him. Because he doesn't know how to run a fucking business, and he never has. He never has, he never learned, he never will. So he is barely being held afloat by a few people, and it's a miracle he hasn't pissed those people off even.
Entitled about it. All right? I understand if you like Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, but his fans are entitled for wanting something.
I was disappointed with the reception.
No,
it got
you just
on my
didn't like the
streams.
game. Just admit you don't like the game.
Way low engagement, way low support, and I was like,
and it
wow.
wouldn't be that bad if he just
shocked.
came out and
do
said, I don't like the game.
And
Fine.
to the point where I was like,
Then
well,
you could
if
stop.
anything goes onto a whole
But
status, it has to be
he makes all
this
these
game.
excuses.
This is just not doing well, you know? So I don't want to hear the whining. I'm the one trying to have a business here. You know,
I guess he doesn't want engagement in his stream.
And I'm not playing RPGs nonstop all year. I'm just not doing it. I can't do it. I will go out of fucking business. You understand me? I will.
Okay, fine. So what other games are you going to play, Phil? What other games are there out there this year that you're going to play? Because guarantee you he is going to play Elden Ring DLC, even though that is another RPG. Elden Ring is technically an action RPG. It is an RPG. He will be playing that. So that's going to be another RPG he's playing. What's a non-RPG game that is coming out anytime soon that you're going to play? Any first-person shooters, he's not going to play. Any Battle Royale, he's not going to play. Any other, I don't think there's any upcoming fighting games anytime soon. So what game is he going to be? Are you going to be playing, Dragon's Dogma 2 forever? And then when that game runs out, you'll, what? What game are you going to play after that, huh, Phil? Tell me what game you're going to play. Because you skipped all these games and gave a million excuses on why you're not going to play all these games from the past year and a half. I mean, he's always skipped games. He's always like, no, found bullshit excuses and why he doesn't want to play this or that or that. So he doesn't play these games. And he could go back to them at any point in time, but he won't, because he only focuses on brand new games, because in his dumbass dented head, he thinks that's going to somehow save the channel and give him more money, even though it's not going to. So what game are you going to play? What's the next game on the lineup after Dragon's Dogma 2? Huh, Phil? Tell me. I want to know this.
Business. Not every RPG
Show me that schedule you talk about every 5 seconds.
By, like what happened with Baldur's Gate 3 and supporting every stream in a huge way.
They
in fact,
did support.
If you didn't notice, with Final Fantasy, it was actually really bad. So stop with the entitlement, because that's not how this fucking channel can work. I wish it could. If I had my way, we would play way more RPGs. I want to make this abundantly clear. I love RPGs.
No, you don't. I love RPGs. And I would play RPGs even if I didn't get money. You're not doing that. So clearly, you don't love RPGs.
Grew up playing.
You're a money-hungry
but that's
poser
not what keeps a business
who loves to
afloat.
pretend.
People want balance, okay?
So what game? He's giving all these, excuses. Give us a solution then, Phil. Please, I'm looking to you for guidance. What other game are you going to balance these RPGs with? ... What game, Phil? He's not giving us a single ideal of what other game he could play that isn't an RPG that's out currently. What other game? You could be playing Helldivers 2. You could be playing some first-person shooter. You could be playing Call of Duty, but you're not.
And they need to have variety. I'm not going to be listening to a vocal minority.
Hey, dumbass. Just FYI, playing Dragon's Dogma 2 all by itself is not a good variety. Because you're done with Baldur's Gate 3, you're done with Like a Dragon. That leaves just Dragon's Dogma 2, doesn't it? Hold on a second. Let's go on a super quick field trip really quick. I'm back! It's gonna be a heck of a day. It's gonna be a heck of a day. All right, what do we got here? Today, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth conclusion was in the morning, and then Baldur's Gate 3 conclusion tonight. All right, he's playing Alone in the Dark. There we go. So he's playing Alone in the Dark and Dragon's Dogma 2. Only 2 games, by the way. That's not that many games. So he's just going to keep rotating between Dragon's Dogma 2 and Alone in the Dark. Gee, it's a good thing a fan of yours recommended you play that game. And I don't know, I just have a feeling that he is going to be dropping Alone in the Dark, that he's not going to like that game very much. I'm not entirely sure. It's quite obvious, though, that he is trying to distance himself from video games as much as possible. Because you got his React, and then you got his bullshit throwback React, which is the most insane thing, in my opinion. Like, that is the most narcissistic thing that you can do, is react to your own past playthroughs because you think they're so fucking good, even though they're trash. And it's so fucking narcissistic, it blows my mind. It really does. So, and then you got the internet react thing, which is bullshit. And then the Phil and Cat co-op premiere, which I can guarantee you now, those two are not gonna finish Beyond Two Souls. Cat is going to get fed up with the whole co-op thing way, way, way before they can finish that game. So that's not going to happen. I give it maybe 3 streams. To be safe, I'm thinking 2 streams again. But I'll be safe and I'll say 3 streams maybe. I don't know how long the game is though. Maybe it's a short game. I've never even heard of it. But yeah, so he only has 2 fucking games. We don't count this one because it's a co-op or whatever. And he's not, like, if Cat dips out on the co-op thing, he's not going to finish Beyond Two Souls by himself. So that game is going to be thrown out. So I don't really count that one. So it's just 2 fucking games. That's it.
Minority of people who are going to sit here and whine and then basically get my chat just caught up in crap. I'm just not going to listen to it anymore. I'm going to do what's right, which means balance, which is always what's worked for this channel. And then when I stopped listening to that and I played a bunch of RPGs, it failed. I knew this was going to happen.
That's your fault, though, because you chose to play that. People were telling you before, don't play Like a Dragon because you got all these other RPGs coming up, and they really wanted to see Final Fantasy VII, and he was already playing Baldur's Gate 3 at the time. So he was already playing Baldur's Gate 3, and Like a Dragon was coming out before Final Fantasy VII, and I remember some of his fans were telling him, don't play Like a Dragon because you have Final Fantasy VII coming up, and he ignored all of that and started Like a Dragon, and then you got into this whole mess that he's been blaming games on for the whole fucking month and a half. Which RPG overload, there's too many RPGs. Well, that's your fault. You chose to play these games. No one else forced you to play these games. It is your channel. You have the final decision. Which would be fine if you just made those decisions and not gave a million excuses on why you can or cannot do that. But you always want to blame everything else on everyone else and not just be like, hey, I don't like the game, I'm not going to play it. That's all you fucking had to say. But you didn't.
I called it RPG Overload in January. Everyone's like, not a big deal. And then what happens? I'm not kidding. My views are way down, and the profit on this channel is way down. Just because people come back every day and will, tip on a Baldur's Gate 3 stream, that's great. But what about everything else? What about ongoing memberships? What about people who would super...
I don't know, Phil. You've kind of conditioned your fans over the years that tipping is all that matters. That tips are the most important because tips are the money I get right away. Obviously, they're not going to give you memberships because they've been getting memberships for free. So why should they give you memberships then, huh? Dummy? And you already said before, you get so little money in ad revenue and all that stuff.
Chat when there was a great game that they enjoyed, all those people are gone.
Yeah, you pushed them away.
They literally left because they're like, dude, you're playing the same fucking RPGs every day.
No, it wasn't the RPG's fault. You pushed them away.
Variety.
You told them to leave, Phil. You said if you don't like it, get out, and they did.
The same shit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god. I know you're lying. You told them to go, and they left.
Okay. So everyone, I hope you understand, and if you don't, sorry that I can't give you everything you want all the time. As they say,
As they say.
Some of the people all the time, all the
Oh
people
my
some
God,
of the time,
shut
but you
up,
simply can't
Grandpa.
please everyone all the time. Right? I can't
You
just
can't
fucking
please
play
anyone
non-stop
any of the
RPGs.
time.
It will not work. So that's it, and I'm putting my foot down. I don't want to have anyone whining in the chat.
So
about
guys,
it. I'm giving you.
I want you to take one thing away from this, is that Alone in the Dark is apparently going to save the channel. Because Alone in the Dark is literally the only non-RPG that he is playing right now. It's going to be Alone in the Dark and Dragon's Dogma 2. So Alone in the Dark is going to save DSP Gaming. It's going to somehow bring in all the memberships, all the tips, all the super chats. It's going to bring in all the super thanks. It's going to rise up the view numbers on the archives, like the videos that he uploads. It's going to rise up all that. It's going to save the channel because it is a game that's not an RPG. So yeah, it's going to bring make DSP Gaming great again, okay? Like, what the fuck, man?
Heads up. We're doing variety for the next 2 months until the end of Elden Ring DLC comes out.
Like what? Give us examples, Phil. What other variety? What other games besides Alone in the Dark are you going to be playing then, huh, Phil?
Like variety, you're in the wrong spot. This is not DSP RPG, where I get less than 200 views a video because no one cares about lengthy RPGs, and then I go out of business. We're not doing that anymore. We're actually going to do variety content. Okay? Fair enough? Thank you to those who are being understanding, really. But if your people are going to be stupid about it and complain constantly, I'm not going to put up with it. Because it's that kind of attitude that, sadly, people don't understand is very toxic. There's a difference between saying...
I said that as a joke. I said that as a fucking joke. Make DSP great again. I said that fucking as a joke. And you got one of his head morons actually saying that for real here. We need to make business great again. Like, oh, shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ.
Man, I really wanted Final Fantasy VII, and I really enjoyed it. But I understand why you can't play it right now. Versus, I want what I want, and if you don't give it to me, I'm going to act like a spoiled brat and just stand in your chat and whine and complain and make everything toxic.
No, they're going to go away and never come back to your channel. A huge difference. And then you will lose another supporter and fan.
This would be the equivalent.
Oh my
and I know you love the food references, right? You go into
a
restaurant
do the food
and they used to serve your favorite dish.
You always
For some
are
reason,
incorrect at them.
They just can't serve it anymore. So, if they're not serving the dish you don't like, you stand in the restaurant and scream at the top of your lungs, why don't you serve the dish? Why don't you serve the dish? Why don't you serve the dish? Or do you leave and go somewhere else? Right? Go somewhere else. Why don't you serve the dish? Why don't you serve the dish? Why don't you serve the dish? Or do you leave and go somewhere else? Right? Why don't you serve the dish? Or do you leave and go somewhere else?
So you hear that, right? Like, he is literally telling his fans, if you don't like this, go somewhere else. Because I'm not giving the customer what the customer wants. So go down to Jersey Mike's and get a better sandwich than my shitty-ass sandwiches. Because I half-ass my sandwiches. I pretend I finished the sandwich, but I usually quit making the sandwich about halfway through. Maybe a quarter of the way, and then I quit. And put it on the back bar. I'll let the sandwich rot in the back. I'll make the sandwich a quarter of the way through, and then I'll stop making that sandwich, and I'll put it in the back without any refrigeration for about 2 or 3 months, and then I'll bring this sandwich back out and be like, well, 2 or 3 months ago you wanted a sandwich. Now you don't want me to continue finishing the sandwich now? That's a better fucking analogy than any of the shit that he's talking about. But he is literally telling his fans, go away, I don't need you. So they go away, and then he's still in the same video bitching and complaining about his channel dying, and he can't figure out why the channel is dying, and he's blaming his only income revenue on his channel dying. I'm like, no, that's the only thing that was making you money. Now you're fucked because the game is done. So now you have like almost no real income coming in. because no one really cares that much about Dragon's Dogma 2 or Alone in the Dark. And on top of that, you're pushing it, half the people who were giving you money away because they were wanting to see a different game, and they probably would have started supporting that game now that Baldur's Gate 3 is done. But because you told them to go away, I'm not doing that, they went away, and now you're going to be bitching and complaining and blaming what? The trolls? It's the trolls' fault? Because it's never his fault. It's never his fault, guys. It's always someone else's fault, never his fault. He did nothing wrong. He has never done a damn thing wrong in his entire life. He was birthed out of his fucking mother, and he was perfect and immaculate. Don't you know he is divine, by the way? We should be praying to DSP, not to God, Allah, Buddha, whoever. We shouldn't be praying to those people. We should be praying to DSPGaming. And you're not. So you're going to hell.
Right? Or just maybe, if you're actually kind of adventurous, try a different dish. Because you might like it as much as the old one. Right? Or maybe you like it even more.
No, because every single sandwich you make is terrible, with rotten ingredients, sloppily put together, just very hastily and sloppily put together, terrible fucking thing that no one could possibly consume without getting some kind of sickness. So no, because every fucking game you play is terrible. It's not the game's fault. You make the game look trash. Your commentary is non-existent.
So just maybe, instead of screaming around for Final Fantasy VII, which ain't happening anytime soon.
No, they're just going to leave.
Stick around and watch another playthrough, and you might like it. Instead of just being a whiner about the thing that you are so entitled and demanding for that I'm not doing. Okay? And again, it's not that
someone else is saying the customer's always right,
gave
but
Final
nope.
Fantasy VII a chance, and it didn't work. It just didn't. People didn't show up.
Yeah, they are going to go away. They're going to go someplace else. They're going to leave.
That's how you can truly tell when a game just isn't resonating with an audience. When people are completely disengaged. They're literally not even talking about the game in the chat. They're doing everything they can to completely derail the chat because they don't care about the game being played on it at all. And that's sad when that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they were doing that for Like a Dragon as well, but you continue to play that game no matter what.
Then why am I going to continue to play that game?
Why did you continue playing Like a Dragon? They were doing the same thing for Like a Dragon, dumbass, but you finished that. You should have jumped Like a Dragon. No, I can't finish that.
From James Nichols, which I already answered this, but people keep asking the same question over and over. You ready? I promise I'm not trying to be ungrateful or troll. I'm curious. You were adamant this last month about finishing Like a Dragon, even though it barely got any support and bad viewership. So why do you not care about finishing Final Fantasy as much, especially because it's the second part of a trilogy that you may want to finish up in the future? When do you consider returning to it in a dead period?
So he's just ignoring. So this person, I'm going to rewind it. This person is spitting facts at this motherfucker. And because they are pointing out contradictions that Phil himself has said, he is going to ignore that and do some joke where he just speed reads the entire comment because it was a long comment or a long tip. So he'll speed read it instead for a laugh. But like always, every single time he makes a joke, he kills his own joke by dragging the joke out like 3 times as long as it should be. So I'm going to bring it back, and I want you to actually listen to what the actual tip says, because they make a lot of fucking sense, and they're pointing out DSP's contradictions a lot, because they're echoing a lot of the words I just said about Like a Dragon and Final Fantasy VII. But DSP knows that it's pointing out his contradictions, so he is treating it like it's garbage. He's treating it like it makes no sense because they have an actual point to it.
Adamant this last month about finishing Like a Dragon, even though it barely got any support and bad viewership. So why do you not care about finishing Final Fantasy as much, especially because it's the second part of?
So why don't you care about finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth as much, especially when it's the second part to a game you already played? When you were so adamant about finishing Like a Dragon, even though that had way less support than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did.
Of a trilogy that you may want to finish up in the future. When you consider returning to it in a dead period, you were so early in the game, and many of us
Wouldn't you consider returning to it in the future during a more dead period in time?
are still looking forward to it. Well, I already answered this
There's a lot of people still looking forward to it.
times, so let me answer it again. I like the game a lot, and I actually want to continue it, and I would probably continue it in the future, so I don't know why you're asking that, because I've already said that I probably would. But it would have to be a time when we're not playing other RPGs, because I'm not doing RPG Overload again.
And now he's just fucking killing the joke and blaming RPG Overload because his contradictions are being shouted out here. And yeah, it just...
Again, I don't want to play more than one RPG at one time anymore, because it's just too much, and it's too much for the channel, and it makes the views go down, it makes the engagement go down, and people are tired of it. In regards to Like a Dragon, this was a game that I was planning on playing for many years. I couldn't wait for it to come out. When it came out, I was very excited for it, but of course, it's a late night stream, and people don't really like the late night streams as much. It's more of a chill vibe than anything else, and it's not really a moneymaker.
So maybe you should... If the late streams are not making that much money, it's more of a chill stream, why do it then? Why do it? Don't do the late night streams and only do one stream a fucking day then. Since apparently you make all your money on the first stream and not the second stream, just don't fucking do it. Oh, you can't because you're a greedy piece of shit.
For me, and
really like I said before, he drags out a joke way too fucking long to the point where it's no longer funny, although it was never really funny to begin with. But, well, like, but even if it was funny, it would not be funny anymore.
It was intended to be that, but I knew that I wanted to play it because I like the franchise so much. It's funny because everyone's like, just quit Like a Dragon, but it's like, but I already played Like a Dragon for 2 months. I'm not going to drop it after 2 months. I'm going to play it and finish at the end, and then Final Fantasy 7 comes out, and it performs just like a Dragon. Well, why don't you play Final Fantasy 7 Like a Dragon? Well, because I like a Dragon more than Final Fantasy 7, so I want to play Like a Dragon and finish Like a Dragon because I'm 2 months into it.
Even though Like a Dragon is really boring to watch, especially when he plays it.
Okay.
Are you laughing at?
Go back and replay that on half speed, and you'll get my answer. Because I didn't want to sit here for 25 minutes repeating myself. I'm not offended. It's just I've answered these questions a zillion times.
I kind of wonder what that does sound like on...
Go back and...
Hold on a second. I actually am going to go back a tiny bit.
I promise I'm not trying to be ungrateful or troll. I'm curious. You were adamant this last month about barely got any support and bad viewership, so why do you not care about finishing Final Fantasy as much, especially because it's the second part of a trilogy that you may want to finish up in the future? When you consider returning to it in a dead period, you were so early in the game, many of us are still looking forward to it. Well, I already answered this a million times, so let me answer it again. I like the game a lot, I actually want to continue it, and I would probably continue it in the future, so I don't know why you're asking that, because I've already said that I probably would. But it would have to be a time when we're not playing other RPGs, so I'm not doing RPG Overload again, and I don't want to play more than one RPG at one time anymore, because it's too much for the channel, and it makes the views go down, it makes the engagement go down, people are tired of it. In regards to Like a Dragon, this was a game that I was planning on playing for many years. I couldn't wait for it to come out. When it came out, I was very excited for it, but of course, it's a late night stream, and people don't really like the late night streams as much. It's more of a chill vibe than anything else, and it's not really... Make it for me, never really was intended to be that, but I knew that I wanted to play because I like the franchise so much. It's funny because everyone's like, just quit Like a Dragon. It's like, but I already played Like a Dragon for 2 months.
I'm not going to drop it after 2 months. I'm going to play and finish at the end, and then Final Fantasy 7
He sounds so whiny in this speed.
Like a Dragon. Well, why does Final Fantasy 7 Like a Dragon? Well, because I like a Dragon more than Final Fantasy 7, so I want to play with Like a Dragon and finish Like a Dragon.
He sounds so drunk.
Okay, so now go back and replay that on half speed, and you'll get my answer. Because I didn't want to sit here for 25 minutes repeating myself.
Because again, all he cares about is money.
Times already, and then people keep re-asking them. So enjoy your answer, your Micro Machines motor mouth answer. Okay. Yes, at one point, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was my most hyped game of the year. Then I started playing it, and no one really cared. Kind of kills the hype, don't you think?
No, it just shows how fake of a gamer you are. Because he has no real favorites in terms of games. Because he doesn't like video games. And I keep telling you that. DSPGaming does not actually like video games. So he doesn't have video game series that he likes more than any other ones. What determines if he likes a game is how well it does and how much money he makes. If he could play the stupidest, shittiest game online right now, and if it made a lot of money, that would be his current favorite game of all time. Because it's making a lot of money at that point in time. Because he doesn't actually like games. He doesn't. And if you actually liked games, and you claimed a game was really fun, and you liked it a lot, whether it made money or not is irregardless and wouldn't affect your liking a game or not.
Don't you think? The same thing would have happened if we were in opposite order. Let me make this clear. If Final Fantasy VII had come out at the end of January, and Like a Dragon had come out last month, and I played it in that order, I would have finished Final Fantasy VII regardless of support, and Like a Dragon would have gone on hold.
No, you wouldn't have.
They're interchangeable at this point.
No, you wouldn't have, Phil, because, I mean, I'm contradicting myself right here, but for whatever retarded-ass reason, he does kind of prefer Like a Dragon over any other game series. Like, Yakuza has always been one of his favorite game series, I guess. So that's the only reason why he continued to play Like a Dragon, because he himself said Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth was one of his lowest supported games in his entire history on being a content creator online. Now, if that was any other game besides a Yakuza game, he would have dropped that game months ago. Like when he first started playing the game and the first couple nights that it wasn't making money, he would have dropped that game. But because it's a Yakuza game and because for whatever stupid reason, he likes that game. And don't get me wrong, I played a couple Yakuza games. I think I played Yakuza 0. And it's fun, I guess. The combat was fun. But the story and plot just kind of seemed boring to me. I wasn't really interested in the story of any of it. Like, I'd rather have more of a fantasy. Like, if I'm playing an RPG, I'd rather it be sci-fi based or fantasy based. Not set in the boring real world in fucking Tokyo. I don't really care about Yakuza mob stuff, you know? If I want a mob story, I'd rather have, like, Italian-American mob stories or, like, maybe replay the Godfather, like, video game or something like that, right? Or play Grand Theft Auto or something. I don't really want to play Yakuza. I'm like, eh. And even then, it's just kind of boring. I'm like, eh. As a movie, it would be better, but, like, playing a 60-hour-long game that's in that setting, that's pushing it for me a little bit. That's going to be a little bit boring for me. I'm sorry. I'd rather have more of a fantasy thing. So I don't really see what appeal he has for that game. It can't just be because it's turn-based, because there's plenty of other better games out there that are turn-based that he gets shit on. So it's not that. I don't know. But like I said, I'm calling my own self out because I was wrong. I forgot he does have like this huge major favoritism towards the Yakuza games. So he wouldn't have done that. No.
It's just the order that they came out. That's the only difference.
Wrong.
Haley says, oh my god, I have to repeat this again. Listen, why are you making a compromise for Like a Dragon but not Final Fantasy VII? Because Like a Dragon came out first and I invested more time in it. I just answered the fucking question. Could you please, if you're going to be on a chat and you're going to be like watching a stream, before you ask a question, could you make sure that you don't have anything lodged in your ears so you can hear when I speak? Because I've already answered your question. It's just a matter of semantics here.
No, it's just
a matter of time.
Your voice causes pain
I was invested over
when other people hear it.
And then Final Fantasy VII
so
came
they
out.
prefer to tune you out. Because they would rather not actually listen to what you're saying.
And Final Fantasy VII had come out first at the end of January, I would have continued to play that game. And then Like a Dragon would have been on hold in the same situation.
He does need to go outside and touch a tree.
Would come back at a later date.
He needs to touch grass.
I'm fairly certain I will come back to Final Fantasy VII later this year. It'll end up probably being a late night chill stream that will play over time. And it's probably going to be heavily story focused, not doing much side content. Because the side content, people were saying they were bored of it. So I don't see the reason to continue it, especially if it's not necessary for the game. Haley says, your answer was cut off by a commercial. Why did you curse at me? Because you could have hit rewind on the live stream and listened to the answer already. It's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. The streams on YouTube, you can rewind them to hear answers. A commercial doesn't make any difference. You're full of it. Nice try, though. That's a really nice attempt to recover there. It didn't work,
You
though.
see the way... Like, yeah, he's calling him a bully, because he is a fucking
I swear,
bully.
Like, again, you're not listening. People just don't listen to me.
Because Phil is the kid in high school that was bullied so fucking much. Because he was a bully in high school so fucking much, right? And I can tell. I can fucking tell. Right? Like, you can just tell that he was bullied a lot as a fucking kid, right? So, he was bullied so fucking much as a child. And now that he has a platform, which is YouTube, his channel, his fucking stream, and he has he has a very small following, but he still has a following of people that for whatever fucking reason care about him in any way, which is beyond me, again. But because of that, in his head, that is him finally having power over someone else for once. Instead of him never having any power and always being bullied, he finally has a platform and a position where he has power over someone else. So he is like in a way, he is bullying them out of revenge for the people that bullied him when he was a kid. So that's why he became such a bully when he he has been a bully for a while, don't get me wrong, but that's why he's always been such a dick and a huge fucking bully, was because it all went to his head, i.e. him being a narcissist. And also because ever since he first got his channel back in 2009 or whatever the fuck it was, ever since then, he's been using his channel to bully other people. And then he freaks out and cries like a little bitch whenever someone calls him out or pushes back in any way, because he's never faced any sort of consequences for opening his big fat mouth.
Literally just explained, did I not, that Helldivers 2 versus
Christ wouldn't act like this. Well, you are right, because Phil is one of the farthest things from Christ-like ever. If he was a little bit more evil, he might be the Antichrist. I'm just saying, he's not that bad. No, he's not that bad. But
Battlefront, two completely different styles of game.
Nowhere near.
One is a cooperative game where you need to team up with humans and communicate. Versus
I thought you gave up on Battlefront.
Controlled. That's the point of the game. PvE, team co-op. Right?
Okay.
Communication is key. Co-op is key. Battlefront is a drop-in, drop-out, team-based, online, competitive game against other humans. You don't have to communicate.
Humans,
that's not the point.
okay, alien.
Just shoot things. Right? It's like playing Call of Duty versus playing Apex Legends. Do you understand?
No, I don't.
Call of Duty, you can just drop in, drop out, play it with randoms. It's still fun. Apex Legends.
No, that's not true, Phil. Because, my boyfriend plays Apex Legends all the time, and half the time he just never communicates with anyone. I mean, you can still cooperate with your team and ping where enemies is, but you don't have to actually talk to them. And I don't even think he listens to any of the the voice chat or anything like that. You could just go in and do your own fucking thing and say to hell with it, because a lot of people do that. And it's you don't have to do that. So you can play Apex however the fuck you want.
You need to really have coordination with the team if you're going to have
Not
fun.
really.
That's how Helldivers 2 was conceived and designed. You understand? Why would I play the game without the things it's designed for and then expect that it's going to be a pleasant surprise?
Why would I play any other game that isn't an RPG? Because you're bitching and whining about all these RPGs. So they're recommending games that are not RPGs for you to play, dumbass.
Or not pleasant surprise, a pleasant time. I'd be setting myself up for disaster. I'd be an idiot, correct? And in addition, I've already explained enough times with online co-op games, as opposed to drop in, drop out like Call of Duty or Battlefront or whatever.
Why are you talking to us like school kids?
The focus is
because you are basically all school kids.
Team, having a common goal, cooperation, working together.
Because the only people that are actually fans of Phil's are either mentally challenged people or kids.
Destiny 2. I've played Apex Legends. When I do
no mature adult
online,
person is going to enjoy his content.
Say to me, Phil, you're not paying attention to us. You're not talking with us. You're not hanging out with us. This sucks. That's what we come to stream for. Well, you wanted me to play a co-op game, so I'm playing it. I got to play the game. I can't ignore the people there to be interacting with you. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. I can't fix that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I've tried the co-op games. They don't work. Just because one of the biggest games right now on the planet is a co-op game doesn't mean I immediately am going to be able to make it work for my content or my streams. It's just, I've tried them before. They don't work, right?
They don't work because he doesn't have any friends to play with, by the way. They don't work because he literally has no one to play with.
The one thing I will say
and he's not good at cooperating with other people. He would go and do his own thing.
One thing I'm happy about, because I want you to understand, guys, that even though a lot of the things I say, no.
Every time he would play Overwatch and everything, he would just go and do his own shit.
The fact that you want me to play all this stuff. People want me to play Final Fantasy VII. They want me to play Helldivers 2. They want me to play.
Are you fucking serious? So at the end of this 17-minute rant, after he shit-talked and told everyone, if you don't like this, go fuck off and watch someone else, you piece of shit. And now he's like, oh, no, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you all giving me advice. No, the fuck you don't. You were just about to ban someone for giving you advice, you piece of shit. So don't ever sit here and pretend that you fucking care about these people after you treat them like constant shit.
That is so much better. It's much better to be in demand.
But if you mention it,
right?
shut the fuck up, because I don't actually appreciate you.
Even though I get frustrated when you guys want me to play 20 different games at once and I can't do it, at least the demand is there to see me play the game.
What are you, a fucking
You
child?
want to see me
Jesus.
do this stuff, and I appreciate that so much, because the opposite is worse. It's way worse to be forgotten, that no one cares. Instead, it's the opposite. You want to see...
No. Phil, when you die on stream, you're going to be forgotten. Your history of shitty playthroughs is going to be forgotten. The only thing people are going to remember, DSPGaming 4 in the history annals of YouTube, is going to be him fapping online and detractor content showing how much of a jackass he was. That's all he's going to be remembered for. No one is going to look back at his fucking game playthroughs like, oh wow, he was really misunderstood. Oh wow, he was a really good Let's Player. No one gives two shits. He loves to pretend that his content is like somehow better than it is. Like, I'm sorry, Phil, but like, I'm sorry to anyone else who actually does Let's Play stuff. But like, I know, you know how like he used to shit on like reaction channels and people reacting is like the lowest grade of entertainment and it's the lowest form of content creation, blah, blah, blah. And then he hopped on React content and doing his own React shit, which also is shit, by the way. His React stuff is terrible because he just makes everything about him, right? But to be fair, at the end of the day, like Let's Play and gaming playthroughs and all this shit, it's just kind of boring and not a quality content, in my opinion. Hear me out. Like, it's fun to sit down on a stream at that moment and watch someone playing a game live. That part is fun. I get that. I get watching your favorite streamer playing a game live. But, like, are you going back to their archive and rewatching them play a game from, like, a year or two ago? How entertaining is that going to be? Like, and in terms of, like, quality of content here, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying my content's any better, because it's not. I'm not trying to pretend that I'm better than anyone else, because I'm not. But, like, in terms of, like, the tiers of quality content or whatever, like, obviously everyone it's also opinion-based, too, and this is just my opinion, so I'm just talking about my opinion here. But, like, YouTube is great, and like I said, for streaming live, it's fun to interact with a streamer while they play a game, but I don't see the appeal of watching an old archive of someone doing a Let's Play, unless it happened to be like a really, really funny, something extraordinary happened, or it's a game you really, really like. But if it's a game you just are kind of meh and don't really care about, and nothing exceptionally funny happened during that playthrough, I don't really see the appeal of that, right? I view that kind of content in archive form, not live streaming form, because I get the appeal of live. I don't get the appeal of archive form. It's kind of subpar content. Like, that, it to me, is kind of like one of the lowest grade denominator type of content. And no one is going to look back on DSP's massive archive channel of fucking garbage, boring fucking content and remember him fondly. Not even his fans. His fans are going to move on to some other lolcow or some other person who plays games shittily, and they'll vaguely remember his name. And if you ask a normal person online, it's like, do you remember this guy? And they're like, oh yeah, he's the guy who fucking jacked off online on YouTube, isn't it? Because that's all he's going to be fucking remembered for. That, or just being a shitty piece of shit toxic individual who bullied his chat, talked shit about everyone, and couldn't take the heat. That's all. That's all anyone's gonna remember this asshole from. And he thinks that he's leaving some... he's so deluded that he thinks he's leaving some kind of legacy behind, right? Some massive fucking legacy so people can enjoy his content long after he's gone. Because he doesn't have any offspring, thank God. He doesn't have a son, he doesn't have a daughter, or gender notwithstanding, I don't fucking know. He doesn't have any kids. He's never going to have any kids. His cat's gonna die probably before he is. His wife will, if his wife outlives him, which, like, you never know, given her size now. I don't know. But if his wife outlasts him, she's just gonna go on to some other fucking person who gives her shelter. The first fucking person who provides shelter for her. Actually, I'm thinking this. I'm like, since she married DSP, doesn't that mean that after DSP, if DSP dies before her, doesn't that mean that she's going to inherit all of his debt? Because that's a shitload of debt that he still owes the government for taxes and the house that isn't paid off. So she's kind of fucked when he dies, isn't she? Unless Seattle State doesn't work that way or they sign some sort of prenup or something like that. I'm not quite sure, actually. I lost my train of thought. Yeah, no, so, like, he has no lasting legacy in this world. And, like, I get it. Some people want some sort of legacy or something that people can remember themselves by when they die. But for most people, that's either having children or leaving a good impression on people that they remember you back on you fondly for all the good that you did, or just being a friendly person, you know, stuff like that. Nope, not Phil. He wants people to remember him from his shitty ass videos that aren't going to survive forever, Phil. Eventually YouTube is going to go under and your legacy of fucking content is going to be deleted off a server, and that's going to be the end of it.
We do all this stuff, and that's very appreciated. Okay.
All right, so one more video. We got the rage. Now we get the cringe. And this one's a little shorter, so thankfully. Why is this not too loud? Oh, that is a little loud.
Last time I had financial freedom was probably 2014 when I moved out here. That was the end of it. Seriously, like 2014.
So this was the end of Like a Dragon. And I think he says in the comments that
all the fucking...
Yeah, he says in the comments like he had to cut that little bit out because he was getting copyright struck, because I think there was a music playing during that first initial part there. Yeah, like this part here, there's like some music or song playing, so he had to cut that part out because of copyright.
Garbage people of the world can laugh and make memes. Sure.
But this is so fucking cringe. He really does think that he's something special. And, like, he's missing the entire point that, like, oh, I don't remember what the hell his name is, but the main guy from, like a Dragon, it's like, the whole point of this is that, like, he made friends along the way, and that was the wealth that he got, was not money, but, like, these friendships and connections and stuff. I'm like, Phil, you don't have any of that, though. That was the whole point. Was that like, oh, no matter what people threw at him or what the world threw at him, it didn't matter because he had these like lifetime long connections with like friends and family and all this stuff. That's like all stuff you do not have, though. That's the point of the thing. It's like, I'm like, and it's just so cringy because he like doubles down in the whole for real meme. And it's just, oh my God, it's so bad.
Sure. This game 100% was parallel with my life. With the amount of people who just sit there online saying awful things about me, trying to ruin my life, trying to ruin...
And one more thing, I'm sorry I'm pausing a lot. I know. Okay, right. I know. But, alright, well, let me get this straight. This is a Yakuza game about bad people. Right? You got murderers, you got killers, you got criminals, bad people of society. And like usually when you have like criminals and murderers and stuff, your first thought wouldn't be, oh, it's just like me for real. Like, no, you don't do that when they're like murderers and scum and criminals and all this stuff like that, right? You would think you wouldn't do that for that. And the fact that you have to constantly, all the goddamn time, shout out to your dents and reinforce that you are happy, that you're living a good life, just like the more you do it, the more obvious it is that you don't have a good life, that you're not happy in your current life situation. If you're actually a happy person, you wouldn't mention that you're a happy person because people could just glean that off of interacting with you. But no one does because you're obviously not a happy person. So it's really
doing everything
cringe.
that I do, right? For what? For what, really? Right? All the shit that's made up. The whole Tatara channel with him and
It's not made up, Phil. I'm a detractor not because of shit that's made up, Phil. It's because of shit you've actually done. Phil has put money over any sort of relationship he's ever had in his entire life. He has put money over them. And this is where it gets you. A laughing stock online. A pitiful, broken man who has no friends, no relations, and a fat wife that can barely stand your guts. That's where money gets you at the end of your life. Is it worth it, Phil?
for me. You know what I mean? And here we are at the end, and I kind of felt that's what the ending was going to be, infinite wealth, because they don't get rich during the game. But what it is, they build these
No, but you wish you had gotten rich during this
they care
playthrough.
about each other, and at the end of the day, they feel like they're the richest people in Japan because of what they have. Well, no one else understands that, right? The same thing with me.
No, it's not the same thing as you because you don't have that, Phil. You don't have these relationships and friendships like that, Phil. Your wife doesn't count. Okay, fine. If you want her to count, she'll count. She'll be one person. Most people have more than one friend, Phil. Like, oh, yeah, I have a wife, but I also have these friends here. Like, I don't know anyone who just has their significant other and that's it. Be it online or locally or both. I have so many friends online. I have a couple friends local here. And then I have my boyfriend. Okay? There's nothing wrong with online friends, but he doesn't even have that. He has some mods that suck up to him and OIC who wants to fuck him, and that's it.
Me, I'm never going to be filthy rich, but I've got a great life that I have with my family. I've got an awesome...
I gotta cope so fucking hard, man. Then it's coping, holy shit. Like, it's such projection, holy shit. I really want Steve of the Dead to do a video on this, because this is so pathetic.
Stream that I get to do with you guys every single day.
And he's trying to do this, like, crocodile tears thing here. He's, like, trying to force himself to cry. It's pretty obvious. Chano's fucking dying. Stop feeling entitled.
You know what I mean? I mean, things aren't perfect, but I'm happy.
I'm happy my channel is dying. I'm happy, guys.
Internet,
honestly,
you just want to make fun of me all day, we'll never understand.
Oh.
It doesn't matter what they say or do.
Oh.
Look at this.
I'll never understand, guys. I'm never going to understand because I'm a detractor and because I make, what, one video a week? I don't have any time for friends, for family, for a job. Because life is black and white in Phil world. So I don't have time for friends and family because I make one video a week, Phil.
Look at the screen right now. Look at the subtitle. Like, this song
I don't see a subtitle.
is like word for word.
Like me, for real.
I'm just happy with what I have. That's where my true wealth comes from. Not from money, not from internet popularity or fame, but from having things in my life that I love and appreciate and knowing that there's people who love and appreciate me.
Ooh,
that's where wealth...
Who loves and appreciates you besides Cat, Phil? Your dent head audience that you keep pushing away from you? We literally spent, like, what? An hour listening to you bitch complain, calling your fans entitled assholes, and pushing them away and telling them to go watch someone else. Phil. So we can't include your audience in that because obviously they don't love you that much. They don't care about you that much, or they wouldn't keep enabling you the way they do. If someone enables you the way they do, it's not real love, now is it, Phil? So what? That's just your wife?
From
that's
in
it.
Life,
and even
right?
that is arguable. Even you with your wife is arguable because every time we see you with your wife, it's more and more clear that she does not love you Like, you can see it. It's palpable on her face. The look of disgust she has when you try to touch her, Phil.
In at the top. It's not about doing the things that make you internet famous, popular, or wealthy. It's not about 10 years of failure. No, I'm way more...
It's not about 10 years of success either, Phil. It's not about 15-year legacy or outlasting this person or outlasting that person. Why don't you bring that part up, Phil?
Wealthy right now in my life than I ever was in the last decade. You understand? But that's what people like them will never understand. They don't get it because they're losers. In reality...
Again, the whole life is black and white. Just because someone criticizes me, they have to be a no-life loser who lives in their parents' basement and has no real job and no real friends because I'm making a million assumptions about someone all because they dare to not like me. They dare to criticize me and call me out for all these things. So I have to pull pignosis on you guys and convince you guys that they're all losers and morons for calling me out. And you'll be a moron too if you call me out, because I'll ban your ass and then you'll go join them and see how that gets you.
The only people who say stupid shit like that are jealous idiots. You know, right now, I've had...
We're so jealous of Phil.
Overwhelming positivity and success in the last month and a half of my life.
Nope.
And people are so butthurt about it.
Where'd that success go, Phil?
People who don't like me right now are probably typing away at their computers. I can't believe it. He reached another vest goal. How can he do that? Listen.
Oh God, this was during the vest goal. I forgot about that. Holy shit. Yeah, where'd all that money go from the vest goal, huh, Phil? You could have bought a brand new fucking car with that vest goal money. Where'd it all go? Hogan pulls. Wasting more fucking money on a gacha game. That's where that money fucking went, Phil. Oh, I'm sure it's well worth the money, though, huh?
My butt hurts so bad. And they do it every single fucking day because they're losers. And they come on the streams and they try to derail, you know, and tough shit. They just sit there and they arbitrarily judge their own lives based off of wealth and internet fame and popularity. And they look at someone like me and they say,
who are you talking about? You don't know anything about your detractors, Phil. You don't know a single detractor's actual name, Philip. Do you know what my name is? Do you know what Duty's name is? Do you know what Lefty's name is? Because I'm pretty sure it's not fucking Lefty. You don't know anyone's actual even name, let alone their actual fucking lives or what they're going through or what they do for a living or anything like that. Because newsflash, most detractors don't do this for a living.
Say someone who's just been made fun of so much that they think, wow, that guy's just, he's a loser, he's a lolcow. No, don't you understand?
No, you're a lolcow because of how you act, not because of how you treated. There's a difference there. You act like a delusional, paranoid schizophrenic. You act fucking insane, Phil, basically.
If you have to get popular by bringing other people's down, you're scum. I'm better than you. And there's nothing you can ever do about it. I'm never going to go away. I will always be around while people like that fail and falter and have these...
Phil, I'm not trying to do this for popularity. I don't care if I get popular or not. I really fucking don't. I am doing this as a hobby. Again, I make like one stream or one video a week. I'm not doing this every fucking day, Phil. So I'm not trying to be popular. What else did he say? I can't remember. Hold on.
You're scum. I'm better than you.
You're not better than anyone, Phil. You really are not better than anyone else. You really are the lowest of the low because of how you act, because of how you treat people. You are a fucking high school bully that never fucking grew up. And that's basically the best way to describe you. A loser childhood bully that never grew up. And you never amounted to anything. You're a failure in your parents' eye. You're a failure in your wife's eye. You have no friends whatsoever. And you're miserable. You're obviously miserable about it.
And there's nothing you can ever do.
And this is just a coping session. I don't want you to go away, Phil. I don't care if you go away or not. I would laugh my ass off either way because I'll continue following your downward fall from grace if you ever had grace to begin with, which you don't. But I'll continue to follow your downfall, and then I'll just move on to someone else. I don't care if you go away. I don't care if you stay. It doesn't matter to me. It just means more content. It just means more chances to laugh at a fucking clown. Because that's all you are.
About it. I'm never going to go away. I will always be around while people like that fail and falter and have these giant fucking controversies and things. I'm still going to be.
Yeah, but that's fun, Phil. You don't understand what fun is. And I'm more and more convinced of that. Phil does not understand what fun is. He just doesn't. He doesn't know what fun is. It's fun to speculate. It's fun to make up conspiracy theories because it's a fun thing to do. I'm not spending all of my fucking time making content on Phil, thinking about Phil, coming up with conspiracies about Phil. I'm not doing that, Phil. I'm not. But when I do that, it's fun. It's funny. It's fun to talk about other people. It's fun to make connections with other detractors. It's a whole ass fucking community here. And everyone, for the most part, is rather nice about it. So it's like, we're not wasting our lives. None of us are really trying to be popular, except for Review Tech USA. Review Tech USA is the only one that could arguably be called a clout chaser, because he's fucking trying to get clout off of you and the whole J business. And I'll get to that in another video. But yeah, so like Review Tech USA is probably the only one trying to get clout off of you, Phil. None of us are trying to be like mega fucking popular for making fun of DSP. There are better ways to go about it than what we're doing. It makes no sense to try to be popular based on someone who isn't even popular to begin with. You're not that well known, Phil. You really are not. He has such an ego. He thinks he's still such a big name on YouTube that we're clout chasing him. I'm like, no. Most of you detractors pull in, well, I know most of you detractors pull in bigger views, have more subscribers, probably have more views and, yeah, more attention on them. And if you search their name on YouTube, the algorithm is probably favors them over you any day, Phil.
Be here. I've had enough. I'm not going to have anyone bitching about Final Fantasy VII at all.
Oh, such
Zero.
a healthy business,
guys. I'm gonna say, shut up. Because I'm not killing.
But I love you. I love you, fans. Oh, it's such, like, we're friends, right? I have such a meaningful relationship with you guys, the fans. We are close friends, right? Because that's what he's trying to portray in that speech from like 5 minutes ago. Was that like, oh, I have it all. I have you guys who are my friends. But you're not my friends. But when it's convenient to me, you're my friends. Because I got to try to convince you guys I'm not a big loser, even though I fucking am.
My business over this. Because I'm not all about that. I'm different. So go ahead and say what you want.
You're definitely different, but different isn't always a good thing, Phil.
I am wealthy. I'm rich. Just not in the way that you like to admit, because you can't.
No, you're probably wealthy in the other aspect, in terms of financial stuff, too. He would be wealthy, and which if he wasn't wasting all of his stupid money on WWE champions. If he didn't play WWE champions at all, and he actually saved that money, he would have probably on par money with fucking Keemstar and other people who retired from YouTube with a lot of money. Probably not Mr. Beast money, no, but he would still have a lot of fucking money and be a lot well off in a better position if he didn't fucking spend all his money on WWE champions like an idiot.
Fact in your head, your small-brained heads, you can never
More
understand
assumptions.
that there are people on this planet.
You don't know a single thing about a single fucking detractor, Phil. All you know is the channel name and that they get more views than you, and that's all you fucking know.
Important than money or fame. They want you to sit here and go money, 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 like a fucking money machine.
It is more important than money or fame, but you don't have that either.
YouTube 16 years ago, not for a moment did I think I'm going to make a piece of content that's going to make me money or it's going to get
Yes,
you famous.
you did.
Not once. And
You
never...
really fucking did. Shut the fuck up. You moved to Seattle under the assumption that you were going to keep making all that money. You took a staycation to Seattle after your Homeland the Revolution or whatever, that game. Once that game blew up and went viral, he fucking did a staycation because he thought that money was going to continue. Like an idiot. He 100% started doing this as a job to get money. Don't fucking let him lie to you like that.
Ever since have I had that thought.
Bullshit.
I'm just happy to be me on the internet, and the fact that people care about me is amazing. And the fact that I have a loving family that supports me is fucking unbelievable.
No, it is unbelievable. I agree with you there, Phil. The fact that anyone would love you is unbelievable. In fact, it's so unbelievable, I don't think you actually have that. Because guess what? You don't. You have a wife that cringes every time you touch her, Phil. I wouldn't really consider that a family that loves you. But, what do I know? I'm not making random assumptions like this idiot is.
It is. I'm the happiest man, man. I couldn't be, the only way I could be happier is if I could provide more for my family and have more time with them. That's about it. By the way, how about this? I don't know what the fuck idiots are talking about with memes and shit. Oh, it's like, he's just like me. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't follow your dumb fucking memes.
Isn't he so happy?
Shove it up your fucking
Look how happy he is,
I have the ability to make an observation that's factually fucking based. Oh, I don't care about anything else, you know? So, hilarious to me that so many people, you know, on this, in the internet right now, they're working on it. Let's work on ways to make fun of Phil.
I'm typing away. Let me make this YouTube channel. I'm going to upload this immediately to the YouTubes. What a fucking idiot.
Anything else, you know? So hilarious to me that so many people, you know, on this, in the internet right now, they're working on it. Let's work on ways to make fun of Phil. Let's work on things that will expose his faults over the years. Let's work on this.
We don't have to do any of that. We don't.
It's all waste of time. It's all fruitless. It's all trash endeavors that don't mean anything. I will always be happy while those people will be fucking miserable because they have to make others look bad to get ahead. They have nothing positive to offer this world. And I do.
Again, not true. You don't know anything about detractors, first of all. You don't know who they are, what they do, who they are as a person. You don't know any of that. I'm not even making this content to spite you. I am making this content because it is funny to me. It's funny watching you cope and fucking mold and project. And it's a hobby. That's all it is. It's a fucking hobby. I'm not trying to get ahead. I'm not trying to make a shitload of money on this or anything. I'm not monetized. There's no ads playing in this video. Well, if there are ads playing, it's not because of me. It's probably YouTube that's throwing ads, maybe. I don't know, actually. Because I got YouTube Premium, guys. So let me tell you about... No, I'm fucking kidding. But anyway, no, it's just like, I don't care. I'm not stepping on you. I'm not even really stepping on you. I'm just literally pointing out the flaws in your logic or lack thereof, Phil. And if you think someone contradicting you is bullying you, then you need a wake-up call and fast. A wake-up call. You need a wake-up call fast, Phil.
And I'm happy for that. Okay? So thank you all for being along on this ride. And what I mean, this game has been a parallel to my life. As much as these...
Like, I have a separate YouTube channel. Not a private. It's like my personal YouTube channel, right? So this is my DSP YouTube channel. And then I have a separate personal YouTube channel. And I don't get a whole lot of views here. You think I don't get a lot of views on here? I get almost no views on my other ones. On my personal channel. But again, it's not about views. I find the content I put out on there more meaningful and more fun because it's more of a personal vlog type style thing. So it's more meaningful to me, the content I put out on there, as opposed to this stuff, which is just more fun, hobby, laugh at the Pigroach together type thing. If that makes sense. But I don't really upload on there as much, which I probably should, but you know, stuff happens. Again, I have so many things to do and just a limited amount of time to do it with. That's why I don't make DSP videos every single fucking day, because I have a job, Phil. I actually work for a living. And on my limited time off, I have other projects going on too, like drawing, writing, making other channels, and occasionally playing a video game or two. So again, wrong.
Users would like to make fun of me for trying to make that comparison that is directly a
He
parallel.
really is a spoiled brat.
Excuse me. Kasuga
That
getting
kid
made
that
fun
was
of at the beginning
bullied
of
in
the
high
game,
school, though.
being misrepresented on the internet, something he's totally not, right? And then all along the game, you know, people not understanding that, you know, even though things were going wrong, that he still believes in
But you're not being misrepresented on the internet, Phil. You really aren't. We are not portraying you in a different light than how you portray yourself. You do get that, right? Fucking Memology 101 literally dumped your entire dialogue and rant here on YouTube. He didn't add anything. He's not like on here twisting the subject matter around. He's not trying to portray you in any weird light or make it seem like it's out of context because it's you doing this. It's not. It's literally the entire clip of you, and he just uploaded it. It's not portraying you in any light. It's portraying you how you are portraying yourself, Phil. Does that make sense? No one is out here making fake videos trying to like give some sort of narrative of what DSP does or doesn't do. We are literally just watching your own full-length clips, not out of context. They're full context clips of you and laughing at it. That's all we fucking do. You're not being misrepresented. Because if you're being misrepresented, then you yourself are misrepresenting yourself on your own fucking streams, dumbass.
People, he still has happiness, you know? But no one, people who are miserable don't get that. They'll never understand that.
No, it's pretty easy to
get. At the end of the
get.
game, infinitely wealthy, even though he's not, you know, financially rich, he's wealthy because he has people who care about him and find value in him.
Again, something you don't have. Why am I miserable? Because I don't like you? Because I don't like a greedy scammer who mistreats his audience, mistreats and abuses his own audience. I must be a miserable person, right? How does that work? What is the logic in that? Like, that's like saying, oh, you don't like fat, like neo-Nazis, so you're a miserable person because you don't like neo-Nazis. Like, what? How does that make any fucking sense? Because you're a horrible piece of shit means I don't like you. That doesn't make me a whole miserable person who has nothing going for their life and nothing to contribute to society. Blah, 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 blah. All this bullshit that he uses to cope on a daily fucking basis.
That's being infinitely wealthy, right? And I have that, and I'm so grateful for that, guys. Thank you for that. Okay, let's finish this game.
Oh, he just like me. He just like me, for real.
Gotta love stupid ass copyright stuff.
Just keep beating him up, and he'll just keep smiling back at you. Just like me.
No,
Go
it's
ahead,
not.
beat the shit out of me. Say what you want about me. Do it. I don't.
Look at this, man. He's like trying so hard to like pretend to fucking cry. I'm like, no, if someone punched you in the face once, you will go down like a little fucking bitch and sob and cry for hours afterwards. That's not just like you, Phil.
I don't care. I'm gonna keep surviving. I'm gonna keep on smiling right in your direction.
You would not keep smiling. If someone punched you once, you would not smile back at them, first of all. Second of all, as soon as someone says even a slightly negative word you don't like, you instantly ban them so you don't have to confront them or keep talking to that person, Phil. There's a difference there. You see what I'm saying? You run away from confrontation at every opportunity your entire fucking life. That's not just like him for real.
Be happy in my life, and I disregard all the bullshit that you say. Just step aside as I continue on my path, and you just become an afterthought.
Sure, Phil. Sure. And again, he is so, what's the right word? He is so obsessed with the whole I'll outlive everyone, I'll outsurvive everyone. That's not a good thing, Phil. You will be always on YouTube because you have no other options, because you are poor as fuck, because of your spending issues, because of you not correcting your spending issues, dummy. That's not a good thing. Oh, outlasting everyone because I don't have any actual class of humility to know when I'm done and leave. Oh, you gonna cry? You gonna cry now? The cringe is so fucking hard, man. The fucking cringe. Anyway, I think that's about it for this video. Just, my god, the level of fucking cringe and delusion and cope is insane from this man. He is becoming more and more unhinged by the fucking day. If you thought 2023 was a good year, you ain't seen nothing yet. We are still in fucking March. Granted, it's almost April, but my god, he is not disappointed yet. He is like fucking, his mind is like melting, basically. It's like 100%. He is just like you've all heard of midlife crisis. This is like beyond that. This is like your brain is fucking evaporating too. It's like, holy fuck. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys next time for the next video. Hopefully that'll be out somewhat soon. And I'll see you guys next time for more insanity and cope. See ya.